Esports World Cup is here, and already we got some surprises coming out of the WordWorks, the return of Peterbot and Pollo, other new teams forming for the Esports World Cup, and Clicks and Higgs still firing on all cylinders. We got so much to talk about with Central and NA West. Let's just jump right into the mix. Yes, you guys heard that right at the start of the video. Peterbot and Pollo are back together again as a duo. I know there's been a lot of talk, maybe even a little bit of confusion, where Peterbot said, I don't want to play with Pollo because I'm not playing the game as of now. Pollo should go look for another teammate. Rumors of Pollo and Rapid and maybe some other teams forming, but as the dust settles, it looks like Peterbot and Pollo are actually back together, and we're gonna head and wonder. Falcons had originally said Peterbot either plays with somebody on Falcons or a free agent that they can sign. But yesterday, as the Elite Cup series was going on for the EWC, Nikoff had came out. Yes, there's some translation, so it might not be 100% correct, but Falcons came into M8 and said they made a substantial offer that they could not turn down, something along the lines of one of the biggest offers for a Fortnite player ever. And it just has them wondering, is it worth keeping Pollo? Maybe they trade him away. And with Peterbot and Pollo playing, I almost think it's guaranteed that both of these players will be playing EWC under the Falcons banner. Nothing is confirmed, so we will wait and see what actually does happen, but them playing together is a huge giveaway of what we might see later on in the future, and it leads us to believe that when it comes to FNCS, this duo will also be playing to capture their spot for the global champion, something that we thought they could take last year with the drop spot debacle. But congratulations to Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache one more time. They came, they saw, they conquered the global championship. But for Peterbot, Pollo, it's time for another legendary run to prove that maybe they are still the best of the best, or maybe some other new teams are starting to have their name on the list and crossing it off. I talked about Clicks and Higgs. They're one of the duos that from trios, they stayed together minus Yamzo, and they have been looking so good. They have been practicing. They're passionate about the game, and I really do believe if they keep this type of focus, this type of passion, this type of dedication, we could see Clicks and Higgs with their first FNCS title this year in 2026. Very, very good news if you're a Clicks and Higgs fan. I know me, Higgs, going way back, NA West, I want to see him raise that trophy and get that axe of champions. But some other teams, Agers and Ritual, there was a lot of rumors around that Agers was going to be signed to Exet to be Ritual's duo, but that has just shattered. Both of these players, Ritual released from Exet, Agers now both being signed to Gen G. They are their premier roster. A lot of people are asking questions, why are so many orgs getting into this? Because of the Esports World Cup, the org prize pool. There is a 3-year partnership, and in 2025, for the orgs alone, there was around $27 million up for grabs. That is separate from the competition prize pool. Falcons won it last year, so to me, this is a good opportunity for both old orgs, existing orgs in the scene to try to get some of that org prize pool. But the biggest thing is you have to take part in at least 2 different games. Obviously, a lot of the orgs are already locking down their Fortnite rosters, so for those teams that don't have another team in another game, they're going to be looking, because last year, Exet, or not last year, but when Exet won EWC, they got first place. They would have, in theory, took home $500,000 extra, but they didn't have a team in a second game, so they were unable to partake in that org prize pool. But some other notable duos, Josh and Yamzo, continue to pop off, winning 6 out of 8 matches yesterday, going ahead and landing themselves in first place on the Opens leaderboard. Cooper and Sphinx, again, another team, 6 out of 8 wins. One of them is unsigned. Cooper is signed to Dignitas, with Kanata and Arc already kind of being that superstar team for Dignitas, and rumors going around you can only really have one team, but even if you have 2, do you sign more players when you already have an elite team, or do you kind of let your elite team rock, save some money? Only time will tell. But some other players, Ages of Ritual, the new Gen G duo, they won 4 out of their 9 matches, proving that they are still here to stay. Clicks and Higgs talked about them winning 4 out of 9 matches themselves. Arc and Kanata only getting 2 wins out of their 9 games total, but they still landed in the top 10 for EWC. And you also had some good teams that I've seen perform well in a lot of these cups that were after the Global Championship. Electro and Ulk, they got a top 10 finish at the the overall leaderboards, 462 points. And if you got to remember, they're taking both days of competition on the 8th and the 16th, combining those, and the top 1,000 for NA Central will get in to the play-in stage. So it's just one stage after the next. After the play-in stage will be heats into the finals, and that's where you could earn a portion of that $1.5 million prize pool throughout the competition. Some other teams that might be forming: Re and G Money, Booga and Curly throughout the offseason, Bucky and Zen, a team that I didn't really see kind of forming together. They are now a team. Muzz and Threats. Muzz going through a little bit of roster mania. Threats as well, with Rapid departing from that roster, but they have found each other as a team and already securing what could be a qualification spot. Talked about Kanata and Arc, Acorn and Bolts. Another team that might be going through an org shuffle, with Acorn being on Dignitas, Bolts being on Twisted Minds. There is maybe a little bit of a chance we could see Acorn go on over to Twisted Minds for them to earn that org prize pool money. Haven't heard too many rumblings about that, but I do see a couple of posts on social media. We also have rumors of Vitality coming in to maybe pick up a roster, and some other teams as well. So if you're a tier 1 Fortnite player, you have hopes and dreams of qualifying for EWC and the FNCS Global Championship, now is the time to put it all on the line. There's so many teams beginning to form that some rosters will stay the same for FNCS as EWC, but some rosters will change as well. For NA Central, man, things are heating up. The storylines are crisp. Let me know what teams you are looking at. Maybe it's multiple teams, the storylines. Let me know in the comments below so we can continue to talk about it before we move on to NA West. Now it's on over to the favorite region, the best region in all of Fortnite, NA West. Last year when Trio was around, we saw a couple of teams move from Central to NA West to try to get that global championship spot. Baka, Pars, and Pump were the team to do it, but Baka and Pars are now a part of that duo, still competing on NA West. Epic Well and Pump as well competing on NA West, but we have a new team at the top of the leaderboards when it's all said and done. It's Victor V and Minute, and this team right here is full of fire power. Let me tell you, they can win any fight against the best of the best. We've already seen Victor V take down Peterbot in high pressure situations, including the global championship. My only question mark for this team is IGL. Who's going to maneuver them around the games? Both of these guys have experience in terms of fragging, but in terms of IGLing in some of the biggest moments, I don't think they necessarily have that yet, but it's a promising hope and a team that I will be having my eyes peeled and locked in on all year long, whether it's EWC or FNCS, because I think they have the potential to be one of the best teams in this region. We have Hearn and somebody else I don't really know. Chud, 532. Driz and Sparks, 494. Prusen and Dork, 470. Xenon and Dark are going to be the ones rounding out our top 5 with 460 points. Throughout the games, watching them in my watch party, Source was popping off multiple times, along with Thoric, ending streamers' runs. He was the reason I didn't get to watch every single endgame, because usually when somebody went down, Source was the one that eliminated him. We got Ray Gun and Slicksy's Rat Gun, if you guys know him, in 8th place. Phoenix and Retro. Fortunately, Retro turned off his stream midway through the tournament, but they still were popping off to secure a top 10 spot on NA West. And going ahead and looking at some other notable names, Inact and Z-Link, 416 points so far. Creep and Dom, 20th place. You got Xpon and Reciprocal. And as you continue to go down the list, that's where you're seeing kind of more and more familiar names, not necessarily at the top, but it being top 500. I'm not too worried, but School and Salco, only one win, 390 points. Not necessarily what I would expect from them, especially last year, the year they had with Arc and Trios, probably looking at one of the most aggressive, dominant teams that would kind of take it by force on the region. 32nd, not necessarily what I would hope, but it being Reload, I kind of give a little bit of lax, a little bit of benefit of the doubt, because it is a whole different style of play than our regular FNCS game mode. We had Evolved and Peepotron in 38th place. The two-time major champions from last year, Baka and Pars, 43rd, only getting 2 wins, but still locking in 385 points. I know when it comes to EU and NA Central, we're talking about 700 points combined, which is about 350 points each. I think NA West is going to be a bit lower than that as we continue to kind of look through the leaderboards. I think maybe 650, you'll kind of be safe, something like that. I don't necessarily know. I know NA West is usually typically lower, but I think if you got at least 350 points this week, you're well above the curve in the margin which you'll be aiming for. But when it comes to NA West, this is a region I think that could be a huge threat at the Esports World Cup. They're aggressive. They know how to fight. It's usually the IGLs and decision making that kind of puts the region behind. But in this reload game mode where aggression is key in most of the moments, I think NA West might be a huge threat when it comes to the Esports World Cup. We'll see as these competitions continue to unfold. All the duos are now showing their hand, who will be playing with who. FNCS also right around the corner, January 31st, the trials start into the divisional cups. Let me know which teams you guys are excited for. Let me know who you guys think will take the top spot and maybe even a top 5. I'm going to be looking at these comments, but make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe as well. It really does help the channel grow, and it is free. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Beep, beep.